Okay, so notice how I'm still working with that same palette, right? I haven't done a whole bunch of damage to it. I haven't spread out all over the place. I still have all of my same lights and darks and stuff coming on. So if anything, I might need some more orange eventually, but we'll see. Now we're gonna work on blending the one color into the other one and then darkening it. So it's gonna put in our first two scales into work, right? So it's kind of like we're starting lighter with the yellow, go into the orange, and then eventually we want to darken the orange on the side away from the light. I'm going to start with my light stuff first because I haven't used much of the yellow yet. So I'm going to start with my light top. So I'm going to start with some white inside with a great deal of yellow. Okay, so we're going to come in and I'm going to start with let's see, I need my palette. There we go. I need my palette knife so I can bring some white over to put a little bit of white into. So again, gonna mash it, smash it, and then try and bulldoze it into a pile. This might be nice for the second one, but I think I might need it lighter still for that first one. It needs to be almost white. Whatever your color is, it needs to be pretty darn light. So I'm gonna bring some more of that over and I'm gonna put a little bit of this into there. This might be good for the middle value, but not for the starting one. There we go, they're significantly lighter. So there's gonna be my first light value on the lid of my acrylic cylinder. So I'm gonna come in here, grab some of this, and we're gonna start by doing this. Now, this is an oval, right? So I'm following the curves as I'm painting, okay? Now, this is going to, eventually the idea is that it blends into the next section. So to do that, I need to paint a little bit beyond where I want it to be, right? So I'm painting just a little bit beyond because I'm going to be coming back in with this yellow. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of those together. And then I'll come in over here. Okay. So see how I'm going back over just slightly the first buttercup kind of yellow I had on there, and I'm following the curve of the oval. So it's not a horizontal, it's not a vertical. I'm following the curves. All right, so this is slowly blending into that. Then I'm gonna come back with a little bit of this and we'll come in. I got a little bit of white in that, and then we're gonna start to blend a little bit of that into a little bit of this. And we'll take that on out to the ledge. So again, following the curve. Put me on pause if you need to do this. All right, there we go. Now we're ready to start playing with the up and down. That's going to be the side of the cylinder. There's two ways to deal with this. Some folks go horizontally across this way and they start and they follow the curve of this, and that's totally doable. Others go vertical and slowly work their way there. So it's up to you. Following the curve is more challenging because we know following the curve of a sphere is rather difficult. So we want to kind of consider that as one of the options of difficulty in our decision making. So I'm going to start with my yellow on the outer edge. This is my pure yellow. Okay, being very generous with it on the edge here because I know I need to blend it. It's going to need to blend, right? I need to blend with my yellow and the orange together. So I'm going to pull a little bit of that medium together, and we're going to start to kind of get a little bit of those blending. The tricky part is the top and the bottom, you know. I kind of outline a little bit of where I want this to go, where I want it to land, and then I kind of go the up and down route. There I go, blending back over what was already kind of wet. All right, I might have to come in here and grab a little of that before I grab a little bit of this, because we want this bottom area. There we go, fuzz it out. And we want this to slowly, mine's starting to get a little dry and pasty. So I'm gonna come back over here and add 2 more drops of my gel medium. There we go, 1, 2. All right, get some of that gel medium going. Just kind of, my brush was getting pasty. So I'm making the brush a little bit more fluid here. So now, there we go, that's so much nicer. I'm gonna take my regular orange in. You see, now we're at the halfway point, right? So that means we need to put the orange down and start blending him into what was already here. Soft fuzzies. But we want enough of him that we can start getting darker on the other side. So notice how I'm playing the bottom out, the top out, and the middle all at the same time. It's doing a lot at the same time. It's kind of coordination. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab some of my brown so I can start blending and working some of the brown in. Get a little bit of the brown up there. Oops. I don't want to damage too much on the top lid there. Okay. Wet the brush. Dry off my brush a bit and try to do a little bit of the wispies in between. And again, if that doesn't work very well, you can come back with that gel medium, and the gel medium will kind of thin and softly blend these colors out. Look at that. Now I need to get darker still over here. So that means I need to pull a little bit of black back into the mix. So I'm gonna come over here, using my smaller brush here, trying to get some of this dark black brown going on the edge. Notice how I'm just dragging straight down, dragging straight down. Okay, and I'm letting it kind of fuzz out. All right. So we got the cylinder, now we need the shadow. We're not gonna worry with putting a specific table color, so I'm gonna ask that we kind of work with, say it's a dark table, so we're gonna work sort of black to fade out with some browns. So we're going to thin out a little bit of the black brown mixture, and we're gonna come right along the edge of this. I'm barely putting my brush down. Remember, this is going to be more horizontal in nature. Okay. The air is really drying in here, so you got to keep sometimes this this mixture of the gel medium in your paints going so it doesn't harden up on you. We'll try and kick off the air when we're painting in here, but it's tricky. All right, and then we're gonna add some more brown to this as we begin to thin a little bit of our color as we start to go horizontal with it. So notice how he's lightening up. I'm gonna fuzz a little bit along the edges here. There we go. All right. So there is our finished handout, okay? And again, like I said, the vertical up and down is a little bit easier than the horizontal blend. If you'd like to try the horizontal blend, you're welcome to. It's a little bit more challenging. And this is sort of an easier blend. But either way, with the air coming on in the room, you probably need to dip your little brush into tiny little bits of this just to kind of keep the paint soft while you want to move it.